Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Keepin It Real podcast. I am your host, McKaylee Lonaville, and I'm so happy to have you here or to have you back. Today, we're on episode 10. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's been 10 episodes already, but it's truly been an experience of a lifetime, and it's been an experience that has just been overwhelming in so many ways. So, if you're here for the first time today, it's going to be a little bit of a different podcast. Reason being, I am going to just be keeping it so real today. Um, I have been struggling these last couple weeks with a lot of different things, and I wasn't even going to come on here today and talk and do this episode for this week, but God was just speaking to me and telling me that I need to come on here and just be real, because the whole point of me doing this podcast and the whole reason that I'm doing this is to not sugarcoat anything and to come on here even when I'm struggling and even when life is hard, because life is hard for all of us. There are some great moments in life and there are some really, really hard moments in life, and we just get to ride it out. We get to trust in God. We get to have faith. And to be honest with you, I usually come prepared before every podcast, but I was really struggling to figure out if I was going to even do one this week. So I am not prepared. I am just going to go into this trusting God that He's going to talk through me and that He's going to help anyone out there that needs this conversation, needs this today. I'm just trusting that he talks through me today. So I am not prepared. I have a couple things on my mind that I want to talk about, but I have no idea how short or how long this podcast is going to be. I just know that I wanted to come on here and, like I said, keep it real with y'all. The main purpose and focus of this podcast is to keep it real, to show people that life isn't always rainbows and butterflies, and I get to come on here and not sugarcoat anything. Because we see a lot of that in our world. We see a lot of sugarcoating. We see a lot of faking till we make it. We see a lot of things on social media of people just expressing these perfect lives that they have, and just a glimpse into their lives of quote unquote perfectness. And it brings us into this trap of wondering if what we're doing is good enough, wondering if we're good enough, and it starts to wear on our self-worth and starts to wear on how we are doing life. I know for me, from personal experience, being on social media is such a beautiful thing, but such a negative thing in so many ways, especially because I'm on it so much more with my podcast, with my skincare business, with my closet business. I'm on social media a lot more now, trying to figure out how to navigate it and how to really monetize it and really figure it out. And I've noticed just such kind of like a downfall on my self-worth, even because I'm comparing myself to people's lives every day so much more than I ever have. I'm comparing my podcast to other people's podcasts who have been doing this for years, and I am wondering if I even should keep doing this podcast. Is it really getting anywhere? Is it talking to anyone? Is it teaching anyone anything like I want it to? But I also get to know that comparing my day one to someone's day 100 is going to get me nowhere, and it's not going to help me grow this podcast any more than I want it to. And it's also a lie from the enemy that I get to really take into consideration of what the enemy is saying about my life and what the enemy is saying about where I am right now. He doesn't want me to be coming on here and talking to you guys and telling you about Jesus and about how great he is and all of those things. The enemy wants to knock me down, and I just get to not let him. I get to overcome that. I get to walk with God and stay in faith with God and be faithful to him, that he did this and brought me to this for a reason. And he has me doing this podcast, has me bringing people on for a reason. And every time after I finish a podcast with one of my friends, and I just feel amazing afterwards, I feel inspired, I feel rejuvenated, and it's hard to keep that feeling going throughout your week or throughout your day, because it just is. Life is just hard sometimes. So, yeah, so today's just going to be a little bit of about hard life, but we're overcoming and we're getting through. So, just piggybacking off of the comparing game, I think that something I'm going to start doing. Actually, when I'm recording this right now, it's July 1st. It's Monday, July 1st, so it's a new week and a new month. I love when I love when a new month starts on a Monday. I just feel like it's like, I don't know, it's something powerful. I don't know why I like it, but I just do. So, something I'm really going to start focusing on this month is affirmations to myself, start speaking positively over my life. I've just been noticing I've been speaking so much negative things over my life lately, and I think that's why I'm in a negative mindset, or in a downwards motion right now, or in a downwards feeling right now, because I haven't been speaking positively. And power is in your tongue. The way that we speak is very, very powerful over our life. And that is in the Bible, that is in scripture. And Jesus talks about it all the time. When you are speaking negatively over your life, you're not having faith in him, you're not walking with him, you're not trusting him. And that's something that this month I really want to focus on, just speaking more positively. Just speaking that jobs are coming in the closet business, that my sales are excelling, trusting in God that he is my provider, that he is the king, that I can rely on him, that he is going to provide in this time of need. If I'm just being real and honest with you guys, my sales have been decreasingly low, just with the way of the world, the economy right now. It's a little bit of a scary place, and it's scary for not only me, but everyone. And I don't know if this is God testing my faith to really just lean on him and trust him and know that he provides. He's provided my whole life, so why would he stop now? And my favorite song, it's Christ is my firm foundation. So why would he fail now? He won't. So maybe that's just my reminder of he's not going to fail me. He never has failed me. So why would he fail now, or why would he start failing me now? And I think that's something we all get to look at. We all get to remember that in our times of hardship and our times of worry, why would God fail when we're walking with him, when we are leaning on him? Why would he fail? And I think that what I'm really, really trying to get through right now is trusting him, is having faith in him, and something I'm super, super struggling with. It's been like a hard part of my walk with God, is the comparing. I posted this on my story the other day for those of you who follow me. I was just questioning God so much these past 3 weeks of, God, I have literally laid everything down for you. I am living a more godly life. I'm living a life of purity. I'm doing this podcast for you. I'm not I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for his glory. I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this for you. I'm praying, I'm reading my Bible, I'm going to church, I'm living a godly life. When people ask me for advice, I point them towards you. What is it that I'm doing wrong? And I was questioning him so much of, why is it that I'm doing all of these things, but people who aren't godly, people who don't believe in you, people who have turned their backs on you are thriving in life? And I was just asking him, like, why are you doing this right now? Like, why is my life such a struggle? Why are my finances struggling? Why is my confidence struggling? Why are so many things in my life just not lining up like they were? And I was very humbled by him, like I am every time that I ask him these questions. And he spoke to me in the devotion that I read every day. It's Sadie Robertson and Christian Huff's devotion, How to Put Love First, their 90-day challenge. I actually started this on January 1st with Chase, and we kind of fell off of it. So I restarted it about 40 days ago. And I was reading it the other day when I was questioning God and when I was having a really, really hard moment. And he just really spoke to me. So let me kind of tell you what he told me. So in this devotion, it was day 34. It was literally talking about exactly what I was feeling. So, one of the lines in it says, we look around at other people who are clearly less spiritual than we are and throw an accusation heaven's way. God, I tithe, I serve, I pray and read my Bible, and now he gets all the props. So, literally, what I was feeling and what I was asking God why. And then, I just read this devotion on that day that I'm asking him. So, to keep going on it, it says, whenever I'm tempted to twist the gospel of Jesus Christ into some sort of prosperity gospel, I remind myself that none of the disciples who followed Jesus in the first century looked like they were winning. They were marginalized, ostracized, persecuted, falsely accused, imprisoned, stoned, whipped, tormented, and in some cases crucified, all for following Jesus. Had there been a scoreboard posted somewhere in first century Jerusalem, it would have read Romans 8,347,281 and Jesus followers 0. So basically, just humbling me and very much putting me in my place as God does. And yeah, just that. I mean, Jesus's disciples had to go through a lot to just follow him, and they decided to lay their life down for him and trust him. And even the richest people, the richest disciples, decided to follow him and trust him because Jesus is the way and the truth, and he showed that in so many parts of his life. And that is what I was very humbled by, that I get to go through the dumps and I get to go through the hard times to follow Jesus and come out in the end even stronger. And the part that I think that some people don't understand or some people lack the knowledge of is that following Jesus isn't easy, but the reward is so much greater than it. And even though I'm going through these hard times right now of finances, of confidence, of struggling with my self worth, struggling with if I'm enough, if my podcast is enough, just struggling with so many things, I'm still at a peace of knowing that God thinks I'm good enough and that God created me in a perfect way. And it's a peace through the chaos that really isn't explainable until you know it yourself. And God speaks to you through that, and it's truly unbelievable, and it's truly a gift that he gives his followers and a gift that he gives his daughters and his sons, that he still gives you a peace through the struggle. And if you can't find a peace through the struggle, I just encourage you to look towards Jesus, to look towards his word, to find a devotion that speaks to you, because God does talk to us. He talks to us in a way like that. He talks to us through people, and we get to really let him talk to us and let him speak life over us, because if he's not, then we're falling into the dumps and not being able to get back out. And I just think about my life a couple months ago when I didn't have a foundation of God, and I would have been a mess. Now, don't get me wrong, about 30 minutes before I recorded this, I was crying in Chase's arms and just, having a little bit of a meltdown. But I'm still able to get out of that and come on here and talk to you guys and keep it real with you guys because of God, because he spoke to me and he said, Michaela, go out there and talk about this. Let people know that your life is imperfect and that it's a job to follow me. It's work to follow me. And It's not easy. Don't show all the easy parts of it, because that's unfair to people who are following me, and that's unfair to the people who are listening to my podcast. Because yes, being with God and yes, having God in your life is so beautiful and so miraculous in so many ways, but there's also so many hardships of it, of God testing you, testing your faith, so that you still are faithful to Him, and so that you still are showing that you are faithful and that you're leaning on Him and trusting Him. And that's just God, and you get to really learn that through your walk with Him and through really, really diving deep with Him. And yeah, yeah. So it's been a process, and it's been a learning curve. I mean, I go from a life of not having God as my foundation. Now, yes, like I've said in all of my podcasts, I've always believed in God. I've always known God, but having Him as the center of my life and the priority of my life is something that's completely different in my life than I've ever done before. So, yeah, it's a whole 360 shift of my life that I get to get used to, but I know the beauty that's going to come out of it, and the love and the stability that's going to come out of it through Him. So, yeah, if you need that, if you're trying to find that, I just encourage you to start reading God's Word. Get this devotion off Amazon. I have the devotion and my Bible both in my Amazon storefront on my Instagram. So yeah, I can't encourage it enough that when you're in the dumps, just having God to pull you out of it is the best thing that you could ever have. So another humbling thing that I got to experience from God was church yesterday. Y'all, church has never spoke to me as much as it did yesterday. I was a sobbing, bawling mess little baby in church, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta let it all out. And I don't know, it's so unreal when He speaks to you when you're going through hard things. And I'm sitting here and I'm just getting chills in my body and just feeling such a peace in my heart because I've been struggling so much. And I didn't want to come on here and talk, but coming on here and talking is making it so much better for me and so much clearer how important God is in my life, and how good He is, and how He just shows me so much through everything that He's bringing me through right now. And it's unreal to me that I was so scared of coming on here to talk about this, because I'm so scared of putting it out there and getting judged. But it's like, you know what, we're all going through it. I heard about 5 people that I've connected to recently that just had a really tough week. And I think it just goes to show that we are all just human, and we all don't need to put on this face of being perfect all the time. We don't need to put on this act that everything's okay, because everything doesn't have to be okay. And that is the beauty of having Jesus in our life, is that when we're not okay, we get to lean on Him and He gets to make it okay. And if He's not making it okay with the things that you're doing in your life, that means it's not meant for your life. And He's trying to show you that. But and that's what I was just questioning before I came on this podcast. I was questioning, is what I'm doing, is this podcast the right thing? And coming on here and talking about it and sharing this with you, I've never felt so much peace that this is the right thing. And I've never felt so much goodness that this is exactly what God has called me to do, because I'm keeping it so honest and raw and real with you. And what else is better than that? I don't want to listen to a podcast or listen to anyone anymore that doesn't come on and talk about their struggles in their life and how they overcame them. I don't want to hear about your perfect life. I don't want to hear about all the amazing things that you are going through. I want to hear how you got there. I want to hear the struggle. I want to hear it because it's real and it means something. And that's what keeps people engaged, and that's what keeps people wanting more, is being able to relate to you and being able to understand that, okay, wow, she's got some issues just like I do, and look where she is, and look how she's getting through it, and how is she getting through it, and wanting to know more. And that's when I started my walk with God. I'm like, okay, these people came from some hard times. How did they get through it? And it all was through Jesus. And I was like, okay, now I need to know more about Jesus, because how did they get through this? Because I can't get through the things in my life. And it's been truly a gift and a blessing to be able to have him and go through the things that I've gone through and the things I'm going through, and still be able to have a peace even in the chaos. So, yeah, just I wanted to just touch on what I learned in church on Sunday. And again, this is not from me. This is just from church and from our pastor. Again, I spoke about this in my podcast with Ariel. If you haven't listened to that podcast, I truly recommend going to listen to that with my friend Ariel. We talk about adversity and grief, and I had mentioned that we go to TC3 here in Jensen Beach, Florida, where I'm from, and our pastor Miles is just truly a gift, and he has taught me so much since he has become our full-time pastor at this church. And when he spoke about this topic on Sunday, I just couldn't even believe how much it was speaking to me and my life. And Chase just kept like hitting me and nudging me. I was like, yes, I know that he's literally talking about me right now. Thank you. But yeah, love you, Chase. Thanks so much for your encouragement to listen. So, what Miles, our pastor, was talking about was misalignment. And we start to have a fruit of misalignment when we stop putting God first. And he was talking from 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 42 through 44. That's what he preached on Sunday. And what he basically was talking about was when we do not prioritize Jesus, we are in danger. And we are in danger when we prioritize things over Jesus. And it's just the truth. It's facts. When we are prioritizing our day-to-day life, when we're prioritizing social media, our boyfriend's work over Jesus, we are not living in the fruit of the Spirit that Jesus gives us. We are living in the fruit of misalignment. And misalignment is anxiety, is fear, is doubt, is struggles, is pressure, all of the things that I'm feeling right in this very moment. And he was just talking about that, and I was just like, wow, like that is so true. And it was true in my life, because through all of these fears and these doubts, I have kind of been pulling away from God in a way, and pulling away from trusting in him, because I'm like, okay, God, if I'm doing all of these things for you and you're not providing, then you clearly aren't a God that provides, and you clearly aren't the God that you say you are. And what Jesus is telling me is, no, I am the God that I'm telling you. I am the way, the truth, and the life, but you don't have faith in me. You aren't surrendering the things to me like you say you are, and you are not putting your full trust in me. And I was very humbled by that, because I have not been. It is very hard for me to be faithful to God, and I'm sure it is to a lot of people. It's very hard for me to trust in God when I just want to control every situation, and when I want to be in control of my life. But being in control of my life is just includes chaos, it includes anxiety, it includes fear, all of the things that I'm used to in my life. But if I have faith in God and trust him, then that's going to bring peace, calmness, no anxiety, no fear. And that's uncomfortable for me. So I don't want to have faith in him, and I don't want to trust that he can do it, because I am comfortable in all of those chaotic thoughts and those chaotic moments. And that is a huge revelation to me. And I have a little bit of chills right now, because wow, that is literally so true. That I don't want to let God be in control of my life, because I am scared of living in peace and living in not in no chaos, because that is where I thrive. I thrive in chaos. I thrive in anxiety. I thrive in those things, because that is what I'm used to, and that is what I've known my whole life. And it is just a program that I get to unprogram, because I get to have full faith that God can do this in my life, and he can do it right. He can make all of my finances work. He can show me the way of life, and he can show me how to live a pure and loving life through him. But I am scared to do that, and I am scared of having finances. I'm scared of being successful. I'm scared of this blowing up, because then what does that mean? What does that mean for my life? What do all those things mean? And it's scary. And it just goes back to growth, and being uncomfortable is so scary. And God just has it all figured out, and we just get to trust in him that he can do everything good in our life. And something that Miles said, our pastor, which was so good, was put God first or leave him out. What we consume will consume us. So if you aren't going to decide to put God first in your life and live a pure life and do the things that he says, then leave him out of it. Because living for God is living for what he wants us to do and what he's asking us to do. Now, is sin gonna happen? Absolutely. Are we going to make mistakes? Absolutely. Because we aren't living a perfect life like he did, and he knows that. But when we aren't living that perfect life, we get to repent, and we get to ask him to forgive us, and then work on not doing those sins again, because that's living a life for God and putting him first and prioritizing him and spending time with him and praying with him and talking to him is what he's asked us to do. To be a disciple of him is to read his word, is to understand his word, and to understand him. And if you aren't going to do that, then just leave him out of it, because you're just doing God wrong by not putting him first in your life and consuming all of the things. For me, I'm consuming social media. I'm my podcast consuming. I'm letting my relationship consume me. I'm letting the thoughts of and the fear of not having enough finances, and I'm letting all of those fears consume my mind. I'm letting not selling enough jobs. I'm letting my skincare business not thrive. I'm letting that all consume my thoughts and my mind. And that is why I am not getting anywhere, because it's literally consuming me in such a negative way, instead of just giving it to God and saying, okay, God, take it, do it for me. I need your help. I need your guidance through it. How do I do this? How do I do this correctly through you? And instead, I'm just letting the fear consume me, and it's consuming my life. I just opened my Bible to another page, and it comes to Psalm 28. The Lord is my strength and my shield. I don't know. Maybe this is just not doesn't make sense to you, but I just feel like God just speaks to you in some crazy ways. I mean, I literally just opened up my Bible to that page, and it's literally telling me that the Lord is my strength and my shield. And it's David pointing out that the wicked ignore and reject God's word, and those who reject him refuse to see him even despite the evidence. And just having him as my shield and my strength, it says, to you, O Lord, I call, my rock, be not deaf to me, lest if you be silent to me, I become like those who go down to the pit. Hear the voice of my pleas for mercy when I cry to you for help. And he does. He hears us. He listens to us when we cry to him, when we ask him for help. He listens, and he just wants us to have faith in him. So I don't know if this podcast spoke to you in a way, but for me, it was just healing for me to come on here and talk to you guys about my struggles that I'm going through. We are living in a fallen world of comparing our lives every day to people that we don't even know on social media. We are living in a world of comparison. We are living in a world of looking at influencers who seem to have this perfect life, and it's just so not true. When we should be looking at Jesus and looking at his word in his scripture, because he actually did live a perfect life. And we are idolizing and looking at all of these false things in the world, and we are watching people idolize other things other than Jesus. And I can't push you to try and go to God before you go to social media. Start prioritizing Jesus before you prioritize anything else. It's a new month. Just start new goals for yourself. If that means putting down your phone in the morning and finding a devotion or listening to worship music or praying to him for 5 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, start somewhere and stop idolizing people that you have no idea what their life is. Because everyone could sit here and think that I have this perfect life and that I have no struggles in the world. But once they listen to me talk or my podcast, they know that I'm anything but perfect. And that is just something that is so important in this world, to find people who aren't perfect and who don't show a perfect life and are going to be real and honest with you and let you know about their struggles. um and just turn to God before you turn to looking at people on social media. Find local people around you that are in church, that are Christian, that are godly, that can help you get on the right path of your life. And even if that is someone on social media, now local people are always better because they get to know you and you get to be in front of them. But even if it's me, if I don't live near you, if you need me to help you keep you accountable for reading God's word or for listening to him, I'll do that for you because I'm struggling too and I need to start diving more deeply in with him. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that's ministry. I don't know if that's serving at my church. I don't know. I'm figuring that out. But I get to not compare my life to the other people that I am seeing every day on social media, and not compare my day one to their day 10,000, because I can compare myself so much to other people's podcasts right now. And it's a lie of the enemy of me not thinking that I'm good enough to come on here and people to want to hear what I want to say. I'm after having my friends on and having people on that have just spoke such light and have had such good stories. One of the lies of the enemy is, oh, people don't want to hear just you come on the podcast, they don't want to hear what you say. And it's like, no, that's not true. I know that people want to hear it, and I know that people can benefit from this. I've had so many people message me just telling me like how much they love listening to it. And it's such a rewarding thing, even if it's one person. Now, I don't have a huge following. I don't have a bunch of people that listen to my podcast or support me or do those things, and I don't need that. All I need is God to know that I'm doing this for his glory, and all I need is for God to tell me, okay, you're doing a good job. You're doing it, like, I'm proud of you. I love you, and just keep going and keep pushing. So here's your reminder to keep going and keep pushing no matter what you're going through, and just know that we all have struggles. We're all just trying to make it through. We live in a world of billions of people just trying to get through every day. We all have goals, we all have aspirations, and if you just look around and even watch people watch, we're all just trying to do something different. We're all just figuring life out, and we can figure it out with God by our side and with Jesus pushing us towards everything that he wants us to do. So I just hope that this episode today helped you. If you are going through a tough time right now, if you're struggling, you're going to get through it. Pray about it, talk to God about it, be in the word, let him talk to you, let him guide you in the right direction, and just have faith in him and trust that he is going to do it better than you ever could have imagined. And sometimes he tests your faith, and sometimes he blesses you so much, and that's just the beauty of walking with him, and that's the beauty of being his daughter and a disciple of him, is that we're constantly learning, we're constantly evolving, and the enemy will swoop in the most when you are following Jesus. But Jesus has defeated him once, and he will defeat him over and over and over again. And I will keep defeating the enemy, and I will keep coming on here and talking to you guys and encouraging light. And when I need to keep it real and be honest about where my life is right now and the struggles that I'm going through, I will. And that is my promise. And that is why I started this podcast. And that is the only thing that I'll keep doing, is to be real and honest and just help you get through whatever you're getting through. So, if you could just share this podcast with anyone who you think may benefit from it, or if you just need to listen to this and meditate on it and pray about it, send some prayers my way. I am getting more comfortable with asking for prayer, asking for people to pray for me, because I know the power that prayer is so powerful, and that is something that we get to get comfortable with too, asking people to pray for you. That is so important and so huge, and it is a powerful, powerful thing. I also got to experience that on Sunday, just praying for someone and putting my hands on them, and I was just an emotional mess, and it was just so, so powerful, and it speaks to you in a huge way. So go out there, be strong, be warriors of this world, be lights in Jesus, and just keep shining through. And I will as well. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for letting me come on here and be raw and real. And yeah, keep it real out there, you guys. I love you. I'm sorry this wasn't an incredibly interesting podcast, but I hope that it just speaks to you in a way that you need to hear it, related to your life, related to someone's life that could hear it. So, yeah, anyways, love you guys. I'm praying for you. I'm loving you, and keep it real out there. See you in the next one.